Designing effective visual aids for presentations. It wasn't too long ago when the only people at a place of business who had access to desktop publishing software packages were the computer geniuses and design gurus. Back then, you had to work side by side with one of those trained professionals in order to design visual aids for a business presentation. The software was expensive, difficult to access, and tricky to use. Today, all of that has changed. With presentation software packages like PowerPoint and Keynote installed on nearly every computer at home, at school, and in the office, we all have easy access to the user-friendly product. The business community expects its employees to be able to utilize the programs when presenting information. However, just because we have access to the program doesn't mean we all do a good job of using that program well. In the hands of the unskilled student, the numerous gee whiz features of PowerPoint and Keynote can result in loads of teeny tiny text in hard-to-read fonts on top of unprofessional design templates and the use of too many pieces of generic clip art. In this tutorial, you will be reminded of basic design techniques that will help you avoid the mistakes that make you look unprofessional and feel less confident in your presentation. Before we address basic design tips to consider, please remember that your message is more important than the visual. Don't spend so much time designing the visual aid that you forget to organize your thoughts and do proper research on the verbal portion of the presentation. A visual aid, whether it's PowerPoint, a trifold board, a prop, or a handout, is just that, an aid. These aids enhance a presentation and should not become the presentation. We will first discuss the process of deciding what a good visual aid could be, and then you will consider the three aspects of design. What ideas need to be highlighted visually? For example, do I have photographs of the product? Which pieces of the product need to be photographed? Do I need to take the product apart and photograph the pieces? What statistics need to be shown? What key points do I need to emphasize? Does a pie chart or a bar chart better emphasize what I need to tell the audience? Go through each main point of the presentation and make a general list of what important items the audience needs to know. Keep in mind, not everything on your list may make the final slide deck. Will showing the information on the slide enhance or detract from my message? What you are trying to think about here is keeping the information on your slide as simple as possible. Remember the old phrase, KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. That old phrase applies here. Go back through the list you just made and be critical. Ask yourself if that photo, chart, or sentence needs to be shown or will it serve as a distraction to the audience. How many slides are necessary? Again, keep it simple. If you are not required to have a certain number of slides, consider this. You only really need one slide per major element in a presentation. For example, one slide during the introduction, one slide for each main point that you discuss, and a final slide for the conclusion. Keeping the number of slides to a minimum keeps the focus on you and the key ideas of your message. Once you have determined what would be good to show your audience as you are speaking, you need to focus on design. While everyone has a slightly different idea of what good design really is, there are three universal ideas that apply to every presentation. First, consistency. Choose a template that provides excellent readability, a professional color scheme, and is appropriate to the tone of your message. For example, a presentation with a serious tone may utilize dark background colors such as black or navy blue, while presentations with a lighthearted tone may utilize light background colors such as green and light blue. Not every template offered with the PowerPoint and Keynote software fits these characteristics. Some good examples are Adjacency, Clarity, Technic, and Urban. These templates are clean, easy to read, and have professional color schemes. Some not-so-good examples are Autumn, Couture, Opulent, and Verve. These design templates utilize hard-to-read background colors, are extremely busy, and aren't professional in nature. Whichever template you select, be consistent with it and utilize that one template throughout the entire slideshow. Utilize the same colors and fonts throughout the slideshow. Selecting one font, like Helvetica, for the header, and another, Times New Roman, for example, for the text is acceptable, but you should stick with those in the same order throughout. Second, readability. Make sure that the design template you select uses contrasting colors for readability. Example, purple slides. Not all design templates use large enough type size in its bullet points. Any type size less than 28 point type is too small. Double check your sizes throughout the document and, if needed, manually select a larger type size and make sure that your sizes are consistent. If you have a chance, you may want to test it out in a room you will be using. Stand in the back and see if you can read the text clearly and without squinting. Not all photographs downloaded from the internet appear perfect when inserted into PowerPoint. What looks good in a smaller version may become bitmapped or blurry when enlarged on a PowerPoint slide. Take the time to find a clear photo. Avoid large, complicated charts. If you need to include such a chart in your presentation, it may be best to hand it out instead of forcing people to squint to determine which slice of a pie chart goes with what color and with what that represents. Stick to the basics. Helvetica, Calibri, Verdana, and Arial for headings and chart labels, and Times New Roman, Bookmond, Garamond, and Palatino for bullet points. Most magazines, newspapers, and books utilize a similar system to ensure readability. Avoid using all capital letters. Standard capitalization is easier to read, won't tire your audience's eyes, and your audience won't think you are screaming at them. The rule of 7 still applies. When needing to utilize a lot of text on a PowerPoint slide, remember, it is best to corral this text with 7 words on a bullet point, 7 bullet points per slide. This forces you to think short and simple. How do you only have 7 words on a bullet point? Easy. Don't use the entire sentence. Use phrases. Third, professional. Even if you aren't a design guru, there are a few simple tricks to think about when designing presentation visuals. Use clip art or photography that's relevant to your message, professional in scope, and is fairly consistent in tone throughout. Have the clip art or photograph lead into the text. Employ simple animation schemes throughout. Here's where many get in trouble with PowerPoint and Keynote. Both of these software systems offer dozens of ways to make the text zoom, fly, float, wipe, and spin into a slideshow. However, these animations are way too distracting. Yes, it is a good idea to utilize a simple animation scheme to place one bullet point or one photo on the screen exactly at the time it is needed. It's a great way to bring attention to one item and the audience doesn't feel compelled to read or look at everything on your slide before you actually bring their attention to it. However, keep this animation simple. Using Appear is the simplest way to accomplish this. Thinking about these 3 design concepts, consistency, readability, and professionalism, and taking the time to think about your visual aids can make a huge positive impact on how you are perceived as a presenter. However, please remember that no amount of fancy slide effects and animation schemes can overcome poor preparation. If you don't do your job in research and organization, not even a smartly designed PowerPoint and Keynote will save you. Visit the Communication Success Center in room 138 of the Fine Arts Center for one-on-one assistance and advice in this topic or any other aspect of public speaking.